Welcome back to the channel, everyone. How are you guys doing today? I just want to say I appreciate you guys being here for just a couple minutes of your day. I do appreciate you guys. This is a book review of Michael Crichton, Prey. I haven't read a Michael Crichton book in a long time, and there was this old bookstore that I used to go to that would sell used books for literally $1. I was like, what? And I read Jurassic Park, because I didn't even know it was a book. Liar! And so I was like, all right, we're gonna buy all the rest of his books. So I bought the rest of his books. They're all in my closet. I just haven't read them yet, and I decided I'm like, we're gonna try out Prey. I think it was fine. I think I gave it like a 4-star. Like my prediction was like a 4-star read, and it was a 4-star read. I think it was fine. It was just exactly how I expected his books are, because his books are very sciencey, but they talk to you in a way that you don't feel really dumb, and I really appreciate that with Michael Crichton's books. I will say though, I'm not a big fan of any of his covers, so cover rating, I'll give it like a 2. Granted, the cover is, there's like a plot with this. Anyways though, enough about the cover. What is this book? What is my likes and dislikes and everything? So this book, it's called Prey. We talk about it quite a bit in this book. I wrote a bunch of notes down so I wouldn't forget throughout this book, because, I mean, like I said, it was actually pretty short book. I was very satisfied with how I was reading it fast, and it was actually pretty nice to read this after. Well, I read Clockwork Orange after Winter's Heart. Thank God, that was rough. But it was nice to read a scientific, yeah, I guess a sci-fi book. I think his books are considered sci-fi. I don't really read sci-fi that much, and I was very happy with this one. I want to talk to you guys about the things I liked about it, and there's some dislikes, but honestly, there's not really a lot. I think the only thing he does in his book that I think was fine, well, I guess a dislike is you just are not with the family enough, because he introduces Jack's family pretty early on, and the rest of the time you don't really focus on it, because the rest of the time you're like in like these mountains. Well, you're not in mountains, I'm sorry, you're in Nevada, and you're like, basically it's like Area 51. The government is paying you to do work, and what happens is his wife, the whole time, because Jack loses his job for snitching on a dude that was selling things illegally, and he got fired because his boss was also doing it, and then they wanted him to come back, the same job that his wife was working at, where he was also working at. So when you start out with the book, Jack is a stay-at-home dad while his wife is, they're scientists. Through that whole aspect, I was trying to figure out what was going to happen. I thought she was going to bring home something, and that's what it was kind of starting out to be, because they have a little girl, like she's like 9 months old, and she breaks out rashes and stuff because she gets reacted to what his wife is doing. And you start noticing a lot of these things, like men in all these white suits cleaning after. It's just like a lot of things. I was like, okay, so they're creating something that Jack's gonna have to face in his home, and then the place that fired him calls him back to go back there. When he goes back there, it's actually kind of interesting, because he shows you they're dark clouds. They're like neo. It's like neo technology essentially, and these things can think on their own. It kind of makes me think of AI quite a bit. I just think it was just really weird that I read this book. Well, AI is like a thing now. They have like their own mind. They can think on their own, and they will attack and kill people. They're like super aggressive, and they're more intelligent, and they can like take over people's bodies. They can go inside you, like take over your mind. And this book kind of makes me think of John Carpenter's The Thing, because there's a part where in this book where Jack is trying to figure out who, like, it makes me feel like, who all has the dark clouds inside of him. That's what he kept referring to as dark clouds, because that's kind of what it was. He noticed when he first got there that it killed a rabbit like immediately, and it killed a rattlesnake. It was like super friendly to his wife. And in the book, in the beginning, Jack was expecting his wife to be having an affair. Everything, all the signs were like she's having an affair. He's like noticing like she's like looking a lot different. She's losing weight. She's just showering after she gets home, immediately home from work. And so Jack was assuming she was cheating on him, and that's why she was working such long hours. And that really stirs up the conflict. So then when you finally know what she's been dealing with, you're like, oh, maybe not. And with the dark clouds, that's why she was like showering, because she didn't want any of that stuff on her while she would go home. And I was like, why didn't you just shower after you got done dealing with the weird dark cloud AI things? So this book, it really did. The second half of this book really made me think of like The Thing, because you were honestly trying to figure out who was who. And I mean, I'm sure Michael Crichton could have made it longer where it could have done that ploy, but he wrote it as like sort of like a horror film, which was kind of cool. I didn't really expect it to be like that, but it did. Like the first half, I didn't expect it to be this way. I actually thought it was going to be like the U.S. government's gonna be chasing after them. It was gonna be something like that, but it didn't. And then it turned into like The Thing, and I was like, wow, this is kind of interesting. Yeah, that was just me. I thought it was a really fun read, though, honestly. If you guys made it to the end of the video, I do appreciate it. Make sure you guys check out all my socials down below, and of course, make sure you guys stay safe, stay hungry, and tell someone you love them. I'll see you guys in the next video.